In assignment 3, we're going to look at passing information from page to page once again, but with a little different focus. This will be similar to the last assignment you completed, except we're going to add auto-population to this one. So think of any site that you've been to where you've had to update your information. It will provide you with a set of form fields that already has what you entered the last time you were there. It automatically populated that data into those form fields. So that's what we're doing in this assignment. We're going to again be using local variables, so they begin with a $sign variable name. We will have 3 pages, your index page, a get form data page, and then a display form data. So you'll enter information on this first page, and I give you this first page. It's down in the files. That data gets passed to the second page where we grab it and we automatically populate it into those form fields, and then we do it one more submission just to take it out of the form completely and display it on the page. So it's also an exercise in continuing to use echo and seeing how useful echo can be. There's a link to the finished solution that you can go and test out. So if you want to enter something here, I'll actually type something in so that in the end you'll see it laid out well. So let's say I fill out the left-hand side. If I only fill out the left-hand side and I hit proceed, it's going to automatically populate the right-hand side. You'll notice I'm on the index page. You'll also notice up here in the URL index.php. I click proceed. You'll notice up here on the URL I'm now on getformdata.php, and I've also put that in my H1 here. When I landed on this page, it looked to see if this was empty. When it discovered this was empty, it took the information from over here and it copied it over here for me, and it automatically populated both the left and the right sides because this is a different page. So it took the data from the first page and it populated that data into the second page. When we click proceed again, it's going to take this data out of the form and just display it on the page in this format here. So you're going to have the name, address, city, state, and zip, just like this for billing and shipping information. So you can play with that, get used to how that's working. But that's your end goal for this one. That starter page, if you come down to the files for this, there is a starter file. That's your index.php. So go ahead and download that and use that as your starter page. We will start with that in this video so that we're not duplicating a lot of the CSS that we did in the last exercise. There's a general outline of what's expected of you there to help you through the assignment as well. So let's go ahead and move to, this is the starter file, the index page that was downloaded. So just go ahead and download that, extract it from the zip file, and then place that file into your assignment 3 folder on the server. So let's see. So here's my assignment 3 folder. I'm working off of the server. I'm working directly off the server because that's how we test our PHPs. So that index.php came out of that zip file there, and then I have loaded it into Dreamweaver here to look at. There's not a terrible lot to do with this index page because it's already laid out for us. If we come back and look at our URL, so I have navigated to my Assign03 folder inside of my folder and loaded that page. You should already see this information or this layout in front of you. So you're ready to type information and have it sent to the second page. So we'll come back to Dreamweaver here, and on this index page, we're going to do a file save as. It's in my assignment 3 folder here, so I don't have to navigate anywhere. And I'm going to call this get form data, lowercase g, capital F, capital D, get form data.php. And I'll save that into my assignment 3 folder. So there I've got my index page still open, my get form data page still open. And we are going to make some modifications to this get form data page. So initially, if we navigate to this page now, it will be identical to that index page. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to pull any information and display it, right? So if I hit proceed here, it does in fact take me to getFormData.php, but I've not edited it. I haven't changed the H1 yet. There's no data being put in here, so I want you to realize that, so that as we make some changes here, we'll notice those changes each time we refresh it in the browser. So I'm going to start by changing the title in the H1 to get form data, just so that we visually see that change when the page refreshes. Now we are going to have some PHP at the beginning of this that's going to do a check to make sure that something has been entered on the index page, and to grab the information from the index page that was entered. So at the beginning here, before the doc type, I'm going to do an opening PHP delimiter and then a closing PHP delimiter right before the doc type. The first thing we're going to do is look and see if the name text box on index.php submitted any information to us. So this is a method of not allowing someone to directly type the URL to this second page. So I'm going to do an if statement. We're looking to see if empty $_post name. So if name on the previous page is empty, then we want to redirect them back to index.php. Put a semicolon at the end. So again, if we come back here and we scroll down, we are looking for input name equals name. Again, ID refers to JavaScript. Name equals name is what we're looking for here. What's in the double quotes? So on get form data, we're looking to see if there was something posted to this page called name. If that's empty, if it's not there, then we redirect to index.php. So let's go ahead and save this page. Now you'll notice that we are on index. Up here in the URL, we are on the index page. So I'll type it out just so it's there visually. So we are on the index page, and let's not type anything whatsoever. Last time when I clicked proceed, we landed on get form data and stayed there. This time when I click proceed, it tries to go there and it sends me back to index.php. So you can watch, if you keep your eye on this tab right here, you can see it flash. It went there and it came back because we added this little piece of PHP that says if nothing was entered in this name box here, then send us back to index.php. What that does is prevent a user from knowing the URL and physically typing it in like that. So it prevents someone from getting to a page that we don't want them to land on until we determine it's okay for them to land on it. So let's go ahead and grab the posted information from that previous page. So what we are going to have, if we come back to the index, you're looking at all of the inputs. So you can see them underlined here. So we're grabbing name, address, city, state, zip, country, phone, email, and then there's also the text area with name equals comments. So we're grabbing all of those, and that's what we're going to be using in the underscore posts here. So I'm going to do a PHP variable $name is equal to $_post name. We're going to continue down that list that we just looked at on the index.php. Address, city, don't forget your semicolons at the end there. I do like to line mine up, my equal signs. It allows me to read vertically as well as left to right. So $state, $_post, state, oops, zip, country, email, and comments. There we go. So we've grabbed that information from the previous page. So now in this case, let's go back and let's do a Control S to save. And let's go look at this again. So again, we're on index here. And this time let's type something. And hit proceed. We do land on the second page. Now we haven't done anything with it on the second page yet, right? But we do get to the second page because we typed something in this box. So if we come back and if everything there was empty except for that box, we would also get here. So up here, what I want you to realize is that we could have a far more sophisticated method of checking to make sure that every box has something in it. For this assignment, I'm fine with just using the name. So that's what we'll check for. As you get farther and farther along and understand the coding more and get more comfortable, then yeah, you would start looking at, well, is name empty? Is address empty? Is city empty? Is state empty? You would look at all of those, and then you'd give the user a message if it was. So for simplicity's sake, we are going to say that if the shipping name is empty, copy the billing info into shipping. Again, this could be more sophisticated, just like we talked about. But if the shipping name was left blank, then odds are you would not want to use what was in any of the rest of the shipping values anyway. But for this assignment, we're going to do an if empty $_post s_name. There's our open and close curly brackets, and else. So we're going to fill out this if else. This s_name, again, let's come back to the index page. You're looking for the inputs. Let's scroll down here to the shipping area. Let's look at the inputs. The names, name equal s_name, s_address, s_city, s_state, s_zip, s_country. And those are the ones that we have to look at. So we're looking at the input names. So if s_name is empty, so shipping name was empty, copy info from billing. But down here, shipping name contained a value, so get the rest of the shipping info. So that's your if-else structure there. So this one's going to be a $s_name is going to be equal to $name. Pretty simple. $s_address is going to be equal to $address. $s_city, and then we'll do state. Zip. S_country is equal to $country, and that will be all of them in that first if body. Now, if something was typed, well, we want these same left-hand side, we want those same left-hand side variables, but we want to change what's on the right-hand side. So instead of it being $name there, it's going to be $_post name, like that. So if something was typed, we want to grab it from the previous page. And I messed up on this one right here. That should be s_name, capital S name on that first one there. And then s_address. Didn't wait for it. There it is. And this one becomes s_city. This one becomes s_state. S_zip, and lastly, S_country. So you can see the difference there. If the user did not type something on this right-hand side, then we copy the information from the left-hand side. So this right here we grabbed. Come on, refresh. What happened? Grabbed info from billing, which is the left-hand side. So these variables, these are local variables right here, local to this one page. In this we grabbed the information from the left-hand side up here, which is the billing. So this right here is checking to see if the right-hand side is empty. If the right-hand side is empty, then take the information from the left-hand side and put it into the variable for the right-hand side. Again, left-hand side going into the right-hand side, right? Or another way to say that is billing, putting it into shipping, billing, putting it into shipping, billing, putting it into shipping. However, if something was typed into the right-hand side or shipping side, then we actually want to get that underscore post from the previous page. So the underscore post is reaching back to index.php, looking for the input with name of sname, and pulling that and putting it into the local variable sname here. So with that, again, we can save this. You're not going to see any changes in the web browser because we've done some logic here, but you're not going to see, nothing visually is going to change. You can go and test it in the browser if you want, but nothing visually is going to change there. So let's make something visually change there. Let's scroll down here to where the unordered lists are, and I'm going to scroll across to the right. And for this first input here, I'm going to go to the end of the input. I'm still inside of the input there. Every input has a value equals. So we can set a value equal to something. So there I just typed some garbage. I'll hit Control S. I need to go back to my here, and then I have to type something. I hit proceed. You'll notice what I put in the value equals appears in this box. So I could put whatever I want here in this value equals. Save that. That value equals is automatically populating that form field. So if I come back and I refresh, and it doesn't matter what I type here because I'm gonna, in the example I'm doing right now, I'm overriding it with what I chose to automatically populate right here. Well, I don't want to hard code something like that because it would say that every single time no matter what. What I want to do is use PHP inside of that value equals and write out the name from the previous page. So you do the value equals with double quotes, and then you've got an open and close PHP delimiter inside of there, and then you do an echo statement where you write out $name. And now I'll save that one. We'll go back to the index page, refresh that page, and now whatever I type into that first box, when I hit proceed, it stays. We're on get form data. It stays in that box. So let's do that with address. So I'm still inside of the input. You can see it highlighted there. Value equals. Again, I could type some garbage and hit save. I'll come back here, refresh, I'll put something in. Actually, I don't want to put that. That's what I put. Let's just put the word address there. When I click proceed, I'm on the index here. When I click proceed, I go to get form data. It kept what I put on the first page. It automatically populated what I hard coded into the second one. So instead of that, again, I want to do an open and close PHP, an echo statement, and we want to write out $address. So it looks just like the one right above it, except we changed the word name to address. Again, let's save that. Come back to the index page. We've got name and address listed there. Hit proceed. It keeps name and address there on the next page. So we are grabbing the data from the first page and we are automatically populating it into the form fields on the second page. Let's do that one more time before I go a little quicker. So again, value equals. Inside the double quotes, we put open and close PHP delimiters. We do an echo statement with a semicolon, and then we use the local variable $city, and we write that out. Echo writes something to the browser. So I'm going to do a Control S. This time we're going to look at the end result and view the source. So we'll come back. We'll go back to the index page. We'll type something into the city and hit proceed. It keeps it. It automatically populates it there. I'm going to right click, view the page source, and you're going to notice down here we have value equals name, value equals address, value equals my city. So let's go ahead and finish out that auto population, and what I'm going to do is grab this right here, value equals, the PHP delimiters, the echo statement, that whole thing. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it after each one of these max lengths. Do not do the text area. Okay, well, let's finish out these and then we'll come back to the text area. We need state on this one. We need zip on this one, and it should pop up and help you. It should say, hey, you've got a variable called this, and I'm just hitting enter to complete that. Forgot the $. Oops. Come on. Okay, and so in doing this one right here, I realized that I skipped one up above, which you may have already caught. So I'm going to go back and add that one up there. So after this is in that first part there, I'm going to do a $phone is equal to $_post phone semicolon at the end. And we'll scroll back down to where we were before. And now we've done our PHP echo inside of the value equals of each one of those inputs. And let's go ahead and test that. Again, do not do the text area yet. It is a little bit different. We're on the index page. So again, we can and then hit proceed, and you'll see that we have automatically populated all of this information from what we typed in on the previous page. Now the end result as we move forward in this class is we take that information, we store it into a database, and then later when you come back we pull it from the database, and that's what gets automatically populated into these form fields. But we don't just jump in and try to do all of that all at once, right? So this is the auto population portion of it. Text area. We auto-populate the text area in between the open and close text area tags. So in between the open and close there, we do an open PHP and a close PHP, and then we do our echo statement inside of there, and we write out the comments there. So the text area tag does not have a value equals. it has an open and close text area tag, and the value goes between the open and close text area tags. So that's how you would do that one. Let's go ahead and finish out these shipping name ones. It is the same as what we did up here. So I'm going to copy this value equals double quotes with the open and close PHP echo name. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it after the max length of each one of these. There's not quite as many of those. Now this one starts with a capital S. So it's an echo capital S for S name. This one becomes S address. Make sure that you don't accidentally delete your $ there. This one becomes S city, and it should help you out. It should pop up an item there that says, hey, you've got a variable named that. Is this the one you mean? S state, S zip, oops, hit the wrong key, S zip, S country. So that's what the second set should be. This is the right hand side, the shipping side. You should see S name, S address, S city, S state, S zip, S country. Again, you've got the value equals on all those because all of these are inputs. So you've got the value equals. Make sure you've got your double quotes, your open and close PHP delimiters. Let's go ahead and save this page once again. We are on the index page here. I've got this typed in from last time. I'm not going to refresh it. So I did not type anything over here this time. Our logic that we put at the top of the page should check to see if this one is empty, and because it is empty, it should take this data here and automatically populate it into this side. So I hit proceed. We landed on getFormData.php. It checked over here, it copied this information and put it over here. So now we want to check and make sure that if we do type something over here, we do not want to copy the billing. So now when I hit proceed, I'm on index here. When I hit proceed, all of this should be identical on the next page. It should almost look like you didn't go anywhere. That if that's how it looks, then and it says get form data and you're on get form data, then you've done it correctly. So when we click proceed, it should really almost look like you didn't even go anywhere. Proceed. We're on get form data, getFormData.php. It kept the correct information on the right hand side, kept the correct information on the left hand side. So that's what you want to see. We've taken what we typed on the first page, we put it into local variables, and then we used echo to write out those local variable values into the value equals and then in between the open and close text area to auto-populate these form fields. So in the future, we'll pull that data from a database and do this. Right now, you're just learning how to automatically populate these form fields. So let's go ahead and create that third page. We are going to take get form data and save it as display form data. So we'll do a file, save as. We're just going to change the name of it to display formdata.php. Make sure you're saving into your Assign03 folder there. Make sure that the page you are editing is display form data. You don't want to do all of these edits and find out that you edited the wrong page right? So make sure that you're editing display form data. First thing we want to do is change the title and the H1 to say display form data. That'll be our visual cue. Help us know that we are on that page. We're going to do something a little bit different. So on that second page, we took the posted information and we stored it into local variables. So this is the posted information from the previous page. This is a local variable, local to this page. We can use that anywhere on this page, but when you go to the next page, it's not there. So we're going to do this third page a little bit differently. We're going to get rid of the local variables and just use the posted data. We're going to leave this up here at the top so that nobody can navigate to this page directly. I'm going to delete all of this that's at the top of the page. Again, make sure you're on display form data. I'm going to delete the rest of this at the top of the page. That leaves us with this if statement at the top. So this checks to make sure that that this right here had something in it, and if so, then we'll go ahead and look at the page. But if not, then we redirect back to index.php once again. So once we do a Control S there, if I come down here, if I try to type in that name directly, it's going to redirect me back to index.php. So I tried to type it in and get there without posting any information, and it took me back to index. It knew that I was not supposed to be there because I did not come from the page previous. So we're going to organize things a little bit differently on this page. I already showed you in the solution, and you can go look at the solution once again. So on this, we're basically going to utilize it without having any form fields. So we're not going to have a submit button. This is going to be our final landing page. So I get rid of that field set with the submit button there. We're not going to have any inputs, so I'm just going to get rid of this script here, because if you leave it, you'll have a JavaScript error. So this open and close script that puts the focus into that name input, I'm going to get rid of that. And then we're going to just have basically the PHP is what we want. So I'm going to take everything here from label all the way up to that PHP. And I'm going to get rid of this. So in this first LI, I've got this this echo, but I do not have the label. I do not have the input. Make sure that you get rid of the closing input there at the end. I am going to put each one of these inside of a span. So we'll do an open span and then a closed span, and then we're going to set some CSS for that. So we've only done the first one here. I'm going to come up into the CSS. These two here, we got rid of the field set submit and the submit button, so I'm going to delete that CSS there. We're keeping the field set billing and shipping. Below the legend, instead of the label span here, we're going to have UL-LI span. So we'll have UL-LI span. And we're going to change that to be 000099. And we'll give it a margin left of 10 pixels. And let's set the font family to be, let's see what we've got here. You can choose one that suits you. I'll just choose that top one and hit semicolon. So again, we've gotten rid of the bottom two, and we changed this one below the legend, so it's now ULLI span. So each one of these others is going to turn into this span like you see similar here. So we could do this one of two ways. I could just delete some of it and slowly build it out, or I think what I'll do instead is I'll get rid of all of this and I'll copy this one. So now we've got this LI span, and then I echoed out the name. I'm going to echo out the address, except we got rid of our local variables up above. So we did not create the local variables, so what we're going to do is write out the posted variable name. So we're going to change this so that it looks like this. So now we've got, we are pulling the information from getFormData.php, and we are immediately writing it out without doing anything else to it. So that's just another method. So on the second page, we grabbed this information from the previous page. We stored it into a local variable. On this page, we are eliminating the local variables, and we are just writing out the information posted from the previous page. So now we'll do city, state, and zip on this next one. So we echo out, and to make this simple, what I'll do is I'll just copy this entire open PHP to close PHP. There's a few different ways that you could do this. So I'll do a copy here. So we're going to have write out the city, which should be followed by a comma space. So that's outside of the PHP there. We'll write out the state, and then there's a space, and then we'll write out the zip code. So we've got 3 PHP echoes there. There's a comma here to separate the city and the state. We could also do this in one echo statement with concatenation. Either one of those would accomplish our task. I'm going to copy the address again. I need one for phone and email. And then I'm going to have another one for comments. So in here, inside the span on this one, I'm going to do a break, comments, break, and then write out the posted comments from the previous page. So now we've got essentially the same thing again right here, minus the comments. Phone and email. Looks like up here I forgot country, didn't I? So let's copy this one. So we've got city, state, zip, country, phone and email, and then comments. I'm going to copy these 4 lines, and I'm going to replace all of these here with those 4 that I copied, and I'm going to put a capital S in front of name, capital S in front of address, capital S in front of city, in front of state, in front of zip, and in front of country. And I'm going to save that. So now what we've done is echoed this out to the browser not inside of form fields, but just on the page itself. So we are on index here, and we are going to write our name, whatever I'll do actually fill in some information here. So I'll fill out the left-hand side. You'll see on the second page it'll copy it over to the right-hand side. We are on the second page. It has copied the left to the right, so we now have billing and shipping information. When I click proceed here, it is submitting the data from get form data. It's not reaching back again. We now have form fields on get form data, and these form fields on get form data will get submitted to display form data. So when I click proceed, I see one thing that I've forgotten to change on get form data, and that is the action equals. So let's come back to get form data, go down to the action equals, and make that point to display form data.php. So we'll save that. We'll come back here again and we'll start this process over. We'll go to index. I've already typed this in here, so again, it should copy, which it does. We are on the second page, get form data. It has copied this. These are new form fields on get form data. So when we hit proceed, we are posting these form fields right here on this second page. Hit proceed, it goes to display form data.php. It writes it out organized the way that we did it here, city, state, space, zip. And that is what you should see between those three. Let's go back and actually type something in this side. Oops. So now when I go to the second page, I'm on the first page, it should keep this data. I'm on the second page, it kept that. When I go to the third page, it should also keep that. So I've got the information that I entered for shipping over here, the information that I entered for billing over here. And that is what you should have in your finished solution for assignment 3.